Motivation Manifesto this is like a blueprint to enable yourself to not only get yourself into the right state of mind, but how to, the standard, if you will. And we're going to talk about someone a little bit later, Andy Andrews, and what standards are. Inspire. Inspiration means that it's what I'm doing right now. Now, some of you might be nonplussed or not very engaged with what I'm saying, but that's okay, because there is someone in this room that is. It's inspiring to them, and that's what I want to do. Forgetting means that I know people that when something goes wrong, they pull out the gunny sack, and it's called gunny sacking. Gunny sacking is get that bag, boom, 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 and pull it all out. Do you remember when you did this and you did this? And that's not helping. And yet, no one's perfect. We all blow it, don't we? But forgetting what is behind and straining towards what is ahead, I press on to my goal. That's forgetting what is behind. Excel. Excel means that you are not only learning, but you're implementing that which you learn. I had someone tell me that knowledge is power. Is knowledge power?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So knowledge is power. If knowledge is power, I knew a professor at Ohio State University, that was the most learned, knowledgeable person I ever met in my life. He lived with his mom, and he drove a 1974 Pinto, and he didn't impact anybody. So applied knowledge is power. So excelling means to take that which you just learned, which a lot of people have talked to me. I've met Zig Ziglar. I know the Ziglar family. Tom Ziglar is a friend of mine. In understanding that in order for me to be at the top, I have to take that which I learn and immediately incorporate it into my life. And I've been told over and over and over that I've never met anybody that just learned something 2 hours ago and you just put it right into you. How do you do that? I said, I do that because I want to excel. Be the best James Eric Ross that I can be. That's one of the number one things in my life, is understanding that I have to be the best. I have to be the best here. I woke up this morning, jumped out of bed excited to come and talk to you because this is my passion. This is my rocket fuel. The number one reason for success is the exact same reason for failure, and it's habit. What you hold in your mind, what your choices and decisions, wherever you are in life, multimillionaire, you've got a place at Sandy Hook on Siesta Key, those are part of the decisions that you made. If you have $200 in the bank and you're driving a borrowed car, that is part and parcel to the decisions that you made. The cool thing is that you're 90 days away from the new you. Did you know that? In 90 days, if you were to go with me and say, Eric, I want to take you up on your 90-day challenge, what the heck do I have to do? Is start by changing your thoughts. 60,000 thoughts a day. Did you know that? We approximately have 60,000 thoughts a day. The majority of those, obviously, are subconscious, cyclical thinking, the deep grooves of the record player. So if the number one reason for success is the same reason for failure, what is it that you're habituating? These are the people that have impacted my life. And I've made habit reading Andy Andrews, who is a really good friend of the Ziglar family. This guy is unbelievable. His philosophy, his habit, he said, if I'm given the choice between doing something or nothing, I will carry that which I have with hurried feet to do something. Do something means that you're not going to sit around and hope and wish and daydream that you're going to get up and say, I don't know what to do, but if I did know what to do, what would I be doing right now? What a great question to ask yourself. If you did know what to do, Mr. Cavendish, what is it that you would be doing? Dennis, what is it that you would be doing? Andy Andrews talked about a standard, that we don't have a standard for raising a child. We don't have a standard for marriage. We don't have a standard for a lot of things in life. Now, if you were to grow a Meyer lemon, you'd get the seeds from the Meyer lemon at Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever, and on the back it says step 1, step 2, step 3. There's a standard for growing Meyer lemons, and if you follow that standard, a Meyer lemon tree with bearing bountiful fruit will be your result. Why isn't there a standard for marriage? Why isn't there a standard for our children to understand how to make money? Can you imagine if that was taught in school? Hey, this is how to make money 101, all the way up to 700 courses. We probably should have done that. We didn't. Bruce Lee Bruce Lee has 7 philosophies. He was a martial artist, if you don't know, but one of the most intense, as far as being young, philosophers I ever met. And he has 7 pillars. I'm only going to talk about one, is how do others view me? How am I viewed in other situations? Because when you can understand that, you're going to be able to change to ensure that when other people view you, they go, well, that guy's an ass. Well, he's got to calm down, or whatever it is. Now, I'm not going to acquiesce to make someone else feel better. Nelson Mandela said that, who are you not to be fabulous? Who are you not to be just an inspiration? Don't shrink back so that other people can feel better about themselves. I don't want you to do that. Don't shrink back. Don't do it. I'm not going to do it. And people say, well, you use too big of words, and you do this, and I'm like, here's a dictionary. I love words. I'm passionate for words. I'm a linguophile. That's not a bad word. It means a lover of words, linguophile. So how do you interact with other people? Jesus, I talked about him before. Do more for others than you do for yourself. Zig Ziglar said it. If you help enough people get what they want in their life, well, you can have everything that you want in your life. But it has to start with an outward focus. I've taught that over and over and over, and it's interesting to see over years that people's philosophy about that changes. Because they say, well, if I make a list of 5 people that I want to help become successful, Eric, according to you and according to all the teachings that you've given me, I will be a success as a result. True? And I said, yeah. I said, but what's your focus to help 5 people become successful? Bob Burg, who wrote a book called The Go-Giver. And there's, in that, again, can't go into it, but there's 5 stratospheric laws for success. And one of my favorite ones that I don't see very often, but when I do, I love it, give more in value than you take in payment. Give more in value than you take in payment. Now that is I remember going into like a hamburger shop in Massachusetts, and it closed at 5 o'clock. And there's like 10 of us. And at 4:59, you can see the girl run into the door. It's not 5 o'clock. It's not 5 o'clock on my watch, and she locks the door. She locked the door. Why? Because she didn't want to be past that. So there's a difference between the hamburger stand owner and the hamburger flipper. Because the hamburger stand owner would have welcomed us with what? Open arms, and said, come on in. Give more in value than you take in payment. Dr. Wayne Dyer, who just passed away, and my mom met him. My brother lives in Hawaii, and they're there right now with my sister. Daily meditation, quieting your mind. I'm not being quiet right now, but believe me, I make time every single day, whether it's 15 minutes to an hour, to quiet my thoughts. And I learned that from Charles Haanel as well as Dr. Wayne Dyer, is that when you're able to remain perfectly still and stop every single thought that comes into your mind, which is through habit, you are going to be blown away by what happens after you have the ability to do that. Start off with 10 minutes, move to 15 minutes. You want to ultimately get to 1 hour of meditation a day where you are just calming your mind. And Zig Ziglar, who I love to death, and when he died, I cried, I really did, is the winning attitude. Your attitude is everything, everything. How do you go throughout your day? Is it that perspective? Is it something where it's a grueling race, or is it something that I can share with other people? Worldview and habit, your worldviews, your behavior, your attitude, understanding that you learn life and your role and the roles of those around you is huge. Enlightened, engaged, creating new habits. I want to create new habits, which if you think about it, the brain has something called a neural net. And the neural net is something that has been habituated. So you have things that you do every single day that you don't even realize that you're doing it. You ever driven before and go, like an hour goes by, you're like, how in the heck did I get here? The cerebellum, your subconscious mind, took over and was able to drive you, but the same thing happens for your habit. You don't even realize that you're doing it, but it's a habit. And it's something that you need to, taking the analogy of the farmer, you need to create new furrows. You know what a furrow is? So new furrows, those are those long rows that you see in Iowa, that you see in Wisconsin and Minnesota and Ohio. And you need to plant new seed. Og Mandino said that I will create excellent habits and become their slave. I will create excellent habits and become their slave means that I'm intentional about changing this in my life. If you're smoking cigarettes, if you are watching things on the internet that you shouldn't be watching, if you drink too much, these are habits that are self-destructive habits, because what are we doing when we do all these things? We're medicating ourselves, aren't we? We're dulling the senses to not really look in the mirror or engage and say, what is it that I'm doing in my life? Enlightenment is trying to find enlightenment. This is my brother, I'm paraphrasing, Jason Ross in Maui. He said, trying to find enlightenment is trying to find your sunglasses when they're on your head. Isn't that funny? And the girl, she said, I was looking for my cell phone for a half an hour in my car until I realized that I was using my cell phone as a flashlight. That's scary, but that's what happens. They're right, it's right there. Enlightenment is right there. You have the ability to pick that fruit and devour that seed all the way down into your soul. We talked about creating new furrows. Lean not on your own understanding. I had a guy talk to me about I needed to separate myself from everyone because I was getting bombarded with their opinions and with what I go, oh my God, that's scary. Because you have to have those opinions. Now you can reject someone else's opinion, but you need to lean not on your own understanding, because if you do that, you only have a modicum of information and a modicum of ability to figure it out. That's why I have mentors. That's why people mentor me and I mentor them, and I ask advice. Actively seek wisdom. Actively seeking wisdom is when you go to someone that is wise, and if they are truly wise, they will never, ever unsolicitedly give you advice. I'm not giving, I am set to come here and talk to you today about what it is that I'm doing and how I can assist you. I'm not saying, hey, do you have an hour that I can sit down and tell you what's wrong with your life and give you, no. So actively seek wisdom, actively seek relationships. Who are the people that you're hanging around? And are they good people? You have to ask yourself that. Sometimes there's a time in seasons in our life where we have to call them out of our life. The negative people, the people that are comparing, the people that are always too busy for you, the people that money is the main issue. They look to you like as a bank account or something like that. You need to really focus on what it is that you are creating in your relationships. Adventures. This is an adventure for me. Waking up and, knowing that I'm going to come here is an adventure, and it's something that not only is recorded for posterity, but it's in my mind's eye too. And as I look out at the crowd, this is something that deeply impacts me. Learn from others' triumphs as well as their setbacks, and guess what? There's no failure. Failure doesn't exist. I succeed or I learn. And I'm not going to do that again. That hurt. I'm not going to do it again. People said, well, you failed. And I said, that's your definition. That's feedback, remember? Someone tells me I failed, that's feedback. I don't internalize that. Anybody that says something to me that I know is not true of me, I was called a hypocrite. I'm not a hypocrite. Do I have everything on straight? No, I don't have everything on straight. Who motivates the motivator? When I'm down, I call Dennis Baker. Dennis, I need some help right now. And he's a dear friend and someone that I am so grateful to have in my life. He and his lovely wife, Janella. But failure doesn't exist. But the biggest thing is do something. For the love of Jeff, do something. And that is just getting out of your comfort zone. Being able to learn, take on new seminars or workshops like this. Symbiosis. A symbiotic relationship in what you're doing is, why don't you find someone that has what you want, do what they do, and you'll get what they've got. Isn't that cool? Find someone that has what you want, do what they do, and you'll get what they got. Symbiotic relationships in nature. Now you see this right on 75 all the time. I will see Angus or Holstein, whatever type of cow, but I'll see egrets next to them. What are the egrets doing? That's right. So what are the egrets getting? Food. And what is the cow receiving?
Relief.
Relief. That's the exact word. So that is symbiosis. There's symbiosis in nature, and there's symbiosis in business life. Again, I hope these big words, if you had never heard of symbiotic relationships, don't let that scare you. If you don't know the dang word, like I use the word resplendent, write it down. Look it up. That's something that you could do in 2016. Did you know that the average high school senior graduating today has a lexicon, that means dictionary, their vocabulary of less than 2,000 words. A lot of them, because of texting, has really done that. I would say that my vocabulary is approaching 10,000 words, and Shakespeare's vocabulary was over 10,000 words. But it's because I'm intentional about being strong in that field of linguistics, of language. I speak Spanish, and I know I have a proclivity for languages. That's my passion. But what are you doing to make yourself better? Who can you get together with and create that symbiosis? The bumblebee and the flower, obviously, right? The flower needs pollination, the bumblebee needs to make honey. Venture capitalists and entrepreneurs, what an amazing, I lived in Silicon Valley for 18 years, and I know about all of the big venture capitalists on Sand Hill Road in Palo Alto and in Menlo Park. And they helped a lot of companies, and they hurt a lot of companies too, but the goal is to create something that is win-win. The cleaning stations at the Great Barrier Reef, those are the huge Goliath groupers that come in, or other fish that know that they're going to get all of the stuff cleaned out of their teeth, and that's another meal for that fish. Shared values. Symbiotic relationships in business or in your personal life, you need to share value, and it's about creating a long-term competitive advantage with that individual by engaging with the societies in deeper level, with the society at a deeper level. And what that means is that you have to have something that is equal for both of you, win-win. Actively using symbiosis is somebody needs you. Did you know that? Someone needs you today. And they're praying that you are there for them.
Ready, call me.
Call me, I like that attitude. That's true, but guess what? You need somebody. I need someone, and somebody needs me. That is the difference is understanding that you have a skill set that I don't have. I'm working on something right now, and I'm just looking at you, and I know that you can solve my problem for me. I do, just by looking at you and what you said before. If you have different skill sets that marry and match somebody else in the job search, this is what I'm talking about. We